As federal employees, you have great benefits, right? Isn't that what people say? That federal employees have fantastic retirement benefits. And that is true. You do have fantastic benefits as federal employees, but I see a lot of feds retire, and I see so many benefits being underutilized. So many benefits that are great if you know how to use them, but are terrible if you don't, right? So today we're going to talk about the core benefits that in 2025 that you have as a federal employee and how to maximize each one of them. So let's first talk about the income side, because really as a Fed, there's two different types of benefits. Number one, there is retirement income benefits, which is like your pension, TSP, Social Security, etc. We're going to talk about each one of those, how you can make sure you're getting the most out of it. And second, there is protection, and that is insurance. You need both. We all want income to be able to live the lives we want, but if we don't have the protection we need, then the first, let's say, big event, whether it's a medical expense, dental, vision, whatever, or we pass away, and if we leave our family in a terrible spot because we don't have the right insurance, or ourselves in a terrible spot because we don't have, let's say, the right health insurance, that's a problem. So we need the protection that the insurance gives and the income that the income sources give to make sure that you can have an awesome retirement. So let's start with your pension. How can you make sure you're maximizing your pension? Well, this is how. Number one, are you eligible for one? There's lots of different types of retirement that you can be eligible for as a federal employee, but not all types are eligible for a pension right away with no reductions. So this is not the video to go into all the different types, but that's the first question to answer is, are you eligible for a full pension? And let me just give you a very quick summary. Generally speaking, to be fully eligible, you have to hit your minimum retirement age with at least 30 years of service, or age 60 with at least 20 years of service, or 62 with at least 5. If you hit one of those, then you're fully eligible. Now, if you qualify for something else like a voluntary early out, a VERA, Voluntary Early Retirement Authority, where you're able to retire sooner, great, that's fantastic. Or if you're special provisions, firefighter, air traffic controller, law enforcement, you may be able to retire sooner, get a pension. Now, here's one thing to keep in mind. When it comes to your pension, the average federal employee gets 1% of their salary worth added to their pension for every year they work. That's basically how it works. That's how it's calculated. You get 1%. However, if you retire at 62 with at least 20 years, you get 1.1% for every year of work you have. So that's a 10% bump increase to your pension just by making it to 62 with 20 years. Now, for some people, that's way too long. They're never going to work that long. That's okay. You don't have to get it. But if you're close, getting that 10% bonus for the rest of your life, that can be quite helpful. So for the pension, the ways to maximize is, number one, are you eligible for it? Number two, are you close to this 1.1% bonus, that 10% bonus? And just know that the only other ways to really increase your pension are work longer, get jobs that pay more with the government, because your pension is based on years of service and how much you're paid, and your multiplier, which we talked about here. So those are the ways you can increase your pension. Now, let's talk about TSP. There are a few things you can do to make sure you're getting the most out of it. Number one, how much are you saving into it? You can have the perfect allocation where you're investing in the perfect funds, but if you're putting no money in it, it's not going to help you much. You have to be putting a healthy amount into TSP. Now, I can't tell you how much you should be putting in. It really depends. If you start really early in your career, you don't need to put in as much because you have more time to do it. But if you waited a long time, the more you got to put in. Okay? So are you putting in enough into TSP? Is your TSP where you want it? If not, you may need to crank that up. Okay? Now, that's the first thing, is how much are you putting into TSP? Second, how are you investing? Are you in things that aren't going to grow very much, like the G fund and the F fund? Or are you in things like the CS&I, which can grow a lot more but are more volatile in the short term? If you need the money soon, the G fund and F fund are great places to have safety. If you need the money not for a while, the CS&I are some great places. Now, I've got full videos showing you how you should probably be investing based on where you're at in your career, so you can check those out. But the next thing for TSP is, are you putting money in the Roth or traditional? Now, if you're not familiar with it, again, I've got videos explaining the core differences, or all the differences, but here's the main one. If you put money into traditional, that's where most people put their money. You get a tax deduction today, but when the money comes out in retirement, when you take withdrawals in retirement, that's when you pay taxes. The Roth is the opposite. When you put money into a Roth, you get no tax deduction today, but the money can grow tax-free. All that money can come out tax-free in retirement. So are you picking the one that makes sense for you? Many people underutilize the Roth. I'm not saying it makes sense for everyone. Check out my videos on that. But many people underutilize the Roth. Okay, so that's TSP. Are you saving enough? Are you invested correctly? Are you putting it in the right account, whether traditional or Roth? Next, Social Security. Long story short, Social Security, you can start it anytime between 62 and 70. And the longer you wait, the more you get. So if you take it at 62, you'll get less than if you took it at 63, etc. Okay? And it's based on your working history, not just your federal working history, but your entire working history and all the jobs that paid into Social Security, which are most jobs, okay? So long story short, there's not a ton you can do to increase your Social Security other than just delay when you start it or work longer and make more. That's it, okay? So when it comes to when you should start Social Security, between 62 and 70, like when is the best age to start it? Again, that's a complicated question. I've got whole videos on those topics. So, and if you haven't gotten the feel for already, this video is not going to be long enough to give you the information you need on every one of these. It's just simply a sampling of some of the core things to know about each one of them so that you can say, okay, I understand the pension well, but I don't understand the TSP well or this well. So you can pick and choose which ones are actually relevant for you, where you need to dial in and really hone in. So again, check out my videos on Social Security if you want to know some of the best ages to take it. Next, the supplement. The supplement is an additional payment that you can get in retirement if you retire before age 62. You have to be eligible for it, and it's additional dollars. Now, right now, it's on the chopping block. We'll see by the time this video comes out, maybe there's a decision that's been made, whether they're getting rid of it or they're keeping it. I'm not sure. Now, it's been on the chopping block many, many times over the last years, but it's never been taken away so far. Knock on wood. Hopefully, it stays around. But basically, again, it's additional dollars on top of your pension that you can get if you retire before 62. It's helpful to have, but there's nothing much you can do to increase it other than just work longer. But if you work closer to 62, the less years of it you get. So the supplement is really, either you get it or you don't. If you do, fantastic. If you don't, it is what it is. Okay? Now, health insurance. This is a huge one. Many people think, and I probably agree with them, that this is one of your best benefits, and it really is a fantastic benefit. Just know, in retirement, the government will continue to pay what they pay right now for you into retirement, meaning the price that you pay right now as an active federal employee will stay the same price in retirement, which is fantastic, but you have to be eligible to keep the health insurance into retirement. So what do you have to do to be eligible? Number one, you have to have a full retirement. Okay, so that, like I said before, minimum retirement age with 30 years of service, age 60 with 20 years of service, or age 62 with 5 years of service. If you hit one of those, and you've got to have been covered under FEHB for the 5 years before you retire. If you've had FEHB for the 5 years before you retire, you have a full retirement, an immediate retirement, then you can keep your health insurance into retirement. Now, there's a couple exceptions, like if you have a VERA, a Voluntary Early Retirement Authority, that is eligible for FEHB if you've had it for the 5 years before. If you, of course, have MRA plus 10 retirement, if you're not sure what that is, it's okay. It probably doesn't apply to you. You got to have a immediate retirement and have been covered by FEHB for the 5 years before retirement. Then you can keep it into retirement. And the vast majority of feds want to, because it's an incredible benefit that the government continues to pay. They pay, by the way, about 75% of the premiums. Huge, huge. And they'll keep doing that for the rest of your life, assuming you stay in the plan. Okay? Next, dental and vision. Now, dental and vision isn't as unique, meaning the government doesn't subsidize it. They don't pay a portion of it, of the premiums for you. And so the government's dental and vision plan, while it can be helpful, if it's working for you, fantastic, keep it. It's not subsidized, meaning it's not better than just other plans that exist normally. But if it's working for you, fantastic, keep using it. If it's not working for you, get rid of it. It's really that simple. You don't need to have it unless you want it. You're welcome to have dental vision plans, so no problem. Now, life insurance, or FEGLI. It's an ugly name, but it stands for Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. Long story short, there's lots of different parts to this. There is FEGLI Basic, FEGLI Basic is your salary's worth of coverage. So if you pass away and you have FEGLI Basic, your family will get whatever your salary is, basically. They round up a little bit, but that's basically what it is. So if your salary is $100,000, your family would get about $100,000 if you passed away, if you have basic insurance. Now, there's also A, B, and C. A is just $10,000 worth of coverage. It's not a ton of coverage, but it's pretty cheap. Part B, you can get a multiple of 1 to 5 times your salary. So you can get 2 times your salary, 5 times your salary, where this is additional coverage, additional multiples of your salary that you can get in coverage if you were to pass away. So if you have 5 times your salary of Part B, and then basic, that's a total of 6 times your salary that would be paid out to your family if you passed away. Option C is family coverage, meaning if your spouse passes away or kids pass away, you'd get a small amount, but it's never that much coverage. The most you can get on a spouse is $25,000. The most you can get on a child is $12,500. So it's really not a ton, but if you want a little bit, that can make sense for you. Long story short, the vast majority of people do not keep Part B and C into retirement because it gets expensive. As you age, they go up in price. Okay, it goes up in price. Most people do not keep these into retirement. You can look at how it increases. I've got whole videos on that, but this is the summary. Most people don't keep those because they really get really expensive. Basic, many people do keep it, but not at its full amount. There's an option when you retire called 75% reduction. That's by far the most popular option. I'm not saying it makes sense for you. You want to check those out, but that's by far the most, at least common option. Okay, so that is a summary of all your core benefits, all the income, of course, that you're going to have in retirement, and then the protection, the insurance you're going to have in retirement. Again, this was never intended to be a full comprehensive of each one. It's just give you enough information so you can say, okay, based on what he did talk about, how much do I understand that? Do I need to dial deeper into any of these things? Again, I've got videos on every one of these. And if you want us here at our firm, we're financial planners that help feds. If you want us to take a look at your stuff and potentially help you to retire, get the most of it out of everything, feel free to reach out. There's a bunch of resources in the description below. I hope that is helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.